So we're going to begin today in a seated position on our mat. And if sitting cross-legged is not comfortable for you, you can choose any other seated position. That would be fine as well. Let's try and sit up tall. And for just a moment here, let's close our eyes or soften our gaze. We're going to bring our attention inward and just settle ourselves. Try and let go of thoughts or things that don't have to do with right now. Just setting them to the side just for this half hour. And bringing all of your attention to your breath for a moment. So on your next inhale, allowing your inhale to fill your belly. As you exhale, releasing all the air, but slowly. And just a couple more. Maybe pausing for just a moment at the top of your inhale and the bottom of your exhale. And then as we allow our breath to return to a more normal state, we can open our eyes and we'll begin to add a little bit of movement here. So I'll start with just a couple backward shoulder rolls. Good. On our next one, let's hold the shoulders in that back and down position. So we have a nice posture here. And we're going to inhale, bring our arms up, reaching. Exhale, we're going to let our arms come back down to our sides very slowly as we reach to both ends of the room as they travel down. And let's do that once more. Inhale, bringing arms up, spreading our fingers wide. And then exhale, reaching through the arms all the way down. Good. We'll place our hands to our knees. And we're going to do some circles to warm up the upper body today. So we can begin by thinking about it as taking our left shoulder towards our right knee a little bit, and then starting to make a circular motion with your upper body and just kind of moving in that way. And you decide how big your circle is. If your hips start to lift off the mat or start to rock too much back and forth, make your circle a little bit smaller. Or if your lower back's uncomfortable, make your circle smaller. Good. Let's switch directions when we're ready. So now we can think about bringing our right shoulder towards our left knee to begin our circle. Hopefully this is feeling good, like we're getting some blood flow into the lower back. But adjust as needed, like anything we do today, to make sure that it feels good for you. Good. All right, when you're back up into, or back in center, we can sit up. We're gonna move to hands and knees. You can travel there however you'd like to today. So we can bring shoulders over wrist, knees under hips, and we're gonna move into cat and cow flow. On your next breath in, as you inhale, we're gonna lift our heart towards the wall in front of us, look forward. We might be lifting our tailbone a little bit, but make sure it feels good on our back. And then as you exhale, round the back, tuck the tailbone, bring your chin towards your chest. And we'll start to flow with our breaths. As you inhale, lift your heart, finding cow pose. As you exhale, rounding the back, cat pose. Let's do one more of each. And make sure it feels good. So if you have tight lower back, you might not want to scoop out your spine too deep or arch too high. Okay, let's meet in a neutral spine. And on your next inhale, we're gonna lift our right arm up. We'll follow with our gaze open up wide. On your next exhale, we'll thread the right arm underneath our left arm and try to lower down towards the ground, maybe resting your head. This is thread the needle pose, stretching into our shoulder. When you're ready, using your left hand, gently start to push yourself back up. We'll reset. Inhaling, left arm lifts, looking up towards our hand. And then on your next exhale, threading it underneath the right arm, lowering down. When you're ready, gently pushing yourself back up. And let's walk our hands forward a bit and see if it feels good to lower our chest down towards the mat from here, coming into extended puppy pose. If it feels good, you could rest your chin, forehead, or cheek to the mat. If this is a little tight in the shoulders and chest today, let's find child's pose, hips to heels for a moment. If you're in puppy with your hips lifted, let's start to come back into child's pose. So we'll all be here, and then we're going to lift to downward dog. Curl our toes under. We're going to drive our tailbone up towards the ceiling. Relax our head. Fingers are spread wide. And let's start to pedal our heels. We'll press one to the mat and then the other. Noticing how the back of your legs feel today. Maybe coming onto your toes for a moment if that feels good in your feet, or anything else that might feel good in this downward dog here. And then whenever you're ready to do so, we'll make our way towards the top of our mat, and we'll find a ragdoll fold where we bend deep into the knees. Take hands to opposite elbows and let our upper body kind of melt down towards our thighs. And the goal here is to let your head feel as heavy as possible. Let go of all effort to hold your head up. On your next inhale, we're going to come halfway up. We'll straighten the legs, although we can have as much bend in our knees as we think might be comfortable today. And let's again lift our heart towards the wall in front of us, monkey pose. On your next exhale, forward fold. You can decide how far and how straight your legs are or how bent your knees are. Then let's all deep bend in the knees, sweep our arms up overhead. And as we inhale, we're going to reach up high. Good, exhaling, reach towards one side. Inhaling, we'll come back to center. Exhaling to the other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands behind the back. Lift your heart up towards the ceiling. And then release. Okay, so as we move through class, just a reminder, you can breathe at your own rate, move at your own rate. We don't have to be in sync with each other at all. So do what feels good today. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale, bring arms up overhead. Exhale, folding from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, monkey pose, flat back. Exhaling, we'll fold again. We're gonna step back to plank, top of a push-up, or kneeling plank. From either plank, let's lower down, back stay straight, elbows hug the sides all the way to our belly, and then inhale, lift our heart into a baby cobra. Release, and gently push back into downward dog. Looking towards your hands, we can step towards the top of our mat, forward fold. Inhale, monkey pose, flat back. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. Palms together, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, monkey pose, flat back. Exhale, fold again, step or jump back to plank or kneeling plank. As we lower down, elbows brush the sides, back stays straight. Option for baby cobra, again, lifting your heart or finding up dog if it feels good to go a little deeper today. Releasing downward dog. And let's stay here a moment. from our downward dog. We're going to inhale, take our right leg up behind us to lengthen. As you exhale, we'll step the right foot through, take as many steps as you need, and then we'll lift up and build warrior one. With our right foot in front, hips facing forward, pressing firmly into both feet. Find your breath. Good. One more breath in like this. And then our exhale, with our arms, we're going to bend at the elbows and take a goalpost arm position and just open up our chest for a moment. So start to squeeze your shoulder blades towards your spine, making sure shoulders are dropped down, just opening up. One more inhale. And then exhaling, we're going to open our arms out wide. Open our hips to the long side of the mat, widen our stance, and build warrior two. Sinking into the right knee so that your right knee is over the right ankle. And then we'll look over our right hand. Good. Breathing. On your next inhale, reverse warrior. The legs stay the same. The right arm reaches up. Follow it with your gaze. And then exhale, hands come down around the right foot. We're gonna step back to plank or kneeling plank and move through a vinyasa, which is plank, lowering down, inhaling to your back bend of choice, baby cobra or up dog, and then back to downward dog. And we'll link our sequences together with the vinyasas, but they're always optional and customizable. From downward dog, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhaling, building warrior one. Hips face forward, feet are planting, bending into the left knee. One more inhale like this. And then exhaling, let's find goalpost arms. Squeeze our shoulder blades towards our spine. Open up chest and shoulders. We'll just do this during our first pass at Warrior One today. When we come back, we won't do the goalpost arms again. Good. When you're ready or on your next exhale, we'll open up our arms, open up our hips to the long side of our mat, widen our stance, and then sink into the left knee so it's over the left ankle. And adjust as needed. We want to feel a good opening in our hips, but never pain. Let's look over our left hand. Maybe take a mindful breath. And on your next inhale, reverse warrior, left arm lifts. The right hand just drops down the back of our leg. Just let it go wherever it wants. And then when you're ready, on your next exhale, hands come down around the left foot, stepping back to plank or kneeling plank, and moving through your vinyasa, or going straight to downward dog. We're going to build onto this, going through it just once more. So from downward dog, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, open up, warrior two, arms out wide, widen our stance. On your next inhale, the right arm lifts, reverse warrior. Good. Exhaling, we're gonna come upright, take our hands to hips, turn towards the top of our mat and build pyramid pose. So we have our right foot slightly in front, but we have at least a mostly straight leg. We might want some bend in our knee. Hips are facing forward. Inhale tall as you can be through your spine. And then on your exhale, fold from your hip hinge so that your spine stays nice and straight. Folding over our right leg, and doesn't matter how far you go, if it's a little bit or a lot. Once you feel a good stretch in your hamstring in the back of your right leg, just holding it there and breathing. You're allowed to have bend in your knees, especially if your hamstrings are tight. We're gonna move into revolved pyramid from here. We'll bring our left hand to the outside of our right leg, just wherever it comfortably touches is fine. And then we can kind of pull against that to start to open up towards the right. And then if it feels okay to do so, begin to extend your right arm so that you feel your right shoulder blade squeezing in to your spine. If you feel any discomfort in your legs or back, then just back off a little bit, either shorten your stance or add some bend in your knees. Should feel good. Trying to look up towards our hand, even if we don't quite get there. Good. On your next exhale, hands will come down, softening the knees. We're gonna lift up the left leg as high as we can for just a moment, bringing our upper body towards our right leg. And then on your next exhale, step the left foot back, and then the right, finding plank or kneeling plank, and moving through your vinyasa, or anything else you'd like to do. From downward dog, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhaling, warrior one. Exhale, open up to warrior two, widen your stance, sink into the left knee. Inhaling, left arm lifts, reverse warrior. And then exhaling, come upright. Take hands to hips and prepare for pyramid pose on this side. So we'll shorten our stance. We're facing the top of our mat again. Left foot is in front, legs mostly straight, hips level. Inhale, tall through the back. Exhale, start to fold from your hip hinge. Nice and slow. Notice how your hamstring feels on the left leg. You don't have to go down far. You also could have bend in your knee. If your right hip is kind of dropped back with your right leg, try to rotate it forward. We do want to keep our hips level. If you notice yourself rounding your back, try and lift your heart. Just fold from the hip hinge. We'll take this to revolve pyramid when you're ready. The right hand comes to the outside of the left leg wherever it's comfortable. And then we'll start to turn open towards the left a little bit, making sure our legs still feel good, soften the knees if needed. And then if it feels okay, we can start to reach our left arm up, squeezing our shoulder blade in, looking towards our hand. We don't want to force our neck all the way up here, but just starting to look gently in that direction. One more breath in. Exhale, release, soften the knees, hands or fingertips to the mat. On your inhale, right leg lifts up as your upper body comes towards your left leg. And then exhaling, step the right foot back, then the left, finding plank or kneeling plank, and moving through your vinyasa. This time we'll meet in child's pose. So we'll bring our hips to heels and just take a moment to check in. If your head doesn't comfortably touch the mat, let's stack our fists or hands underneath so we can give every part of us a chance to rest for just a moment here. And then when you're ready, we're gonna move to a seated position on the mat. We'll be coming into butterfly pose. So when you're here, you can bring the bottoms of your feet together, your hands to your ankles, sitting up tall. Breathing. If you do wanna go deeper, you could fold from the hips towards your feet. Let's just avoid pulling our toes up towards our body so we can protect our ankle ligaments. Okay, let's go ahead and can sit up and we'll bring our knees back together. We're gonna take our hands behind us now with fingertips facing our body, and we'll be finding table pose. But first, before we lift into table pose, seated version, as you inhale, on your next inhale, we'll lift our heart towards the ceiling and push your hands into the mat, almost like you're trying to push yourself off. And you see how this feels in your chest, shoulders, arms. If this is where you wanna be, you can stay here. If you wanna go a little bit deeper, then we'll start to lift our hips up towards the ceiling. We're still pushing through our palms, but now we're lifting our hips and our chest up towards the ceiling if we're in table pose. So picking what feels good. 2 more slow breaths. And then on your next exhale, gently release. And we're gonna lie on our back with knees bent. And we'll come into bridge pose. Let's have our arms down to our sides, palms on the ground. And then on your next inhale, pushing through hands and feet and lifting your hips up towards the ceiling. And just notice how this feels. If it doesn't feel good, or if it feels like it's being strained, lower down a little bit to see if there's a comfortable spot. If not, just go ahead and come down. If it does feel good, just hold it here for a few slow breaths. Option to clasp your hands under your body, press into the mat to lift a little higher, maybe coming under your shoulder blades or onto your shoulders. Wherever you're at, one more inhale. And then as you exhale, allow the lowering down to take the whole exhale, like one vertebrae at a time, just lowering down. And then we'll draw our knees into our chest and just rock side to side for a moment. And then we'll let the left leg extend to the ground, and we'll pull the right knee in. And then we'll let our left hand guide our right knee across our body. And we'll open up the right arm. And if it feels okay to do so, turn our head to look at our right hand for a spinal twist. Trying to keep our shoulders grounded. It doesn't matter how far your knee goes. When you're ready to switch, coming back to center, drawing both knees in again. And then letting the right leg extend, pulling the left knee in. Allowing our right hand to guide the left knee across our body. Opening up left arm, looking towards your left hand, and then letting your shoulders melt into the mat. And then gently coming back to center. One more time, knees come in. And then we're gonna go ahead and find our final relaxation. So you can pick any comfortable position at all for you for just the next few minutes. We're gonna give ourselves some time where there's nothing expected of you. No need to be productive. Just be here, breathing, letting your body feel heavy, letting it melt into the ground. And when a thought comes up, you can acknowledge it, but then let it go. go ahead and just slowly begin to bring your awareness back, trying not to rush yourself. So maybe just beginning with some small movements, slowly making your way back to seated in your own time. Noticing just how you feel right now. Maybe setting a quick intention for the rest of your day. And then when you're ready, we can bring arms up again, inhaling, one more stretch. Hands together, exhaling to heart center. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining today. Hope you had a good session. I hope my dog also wasn't snoring too loudly during the Savasana. But thanks for being here.